By the thinnest of margins, Donald Trump got his big, beautiful 900-page bill. Border and immigration control were top priority. J.D. Vance said, everything else is immaterial compared to the ICE money and immigration enforcement provisions. Before it was passed, Stephen Miller called it the most essential piece of legislation currently under consideration in the entire Western world in generations. So, what's in it? People quote big numbers. $150 billion for border security, but that's over 4 years until 2029. The biggest single chunk, $46.5 billion, is for the border wall. That should pay for another 700 miles of wall and 900 miles of river barriers. The Mexico border is already safer than ever. Border czar Tom Homan wrote this month, total Border Patrol encounters for the entire month of June 2025 was 6,070, which was less than half of a single day under Biden. As Senator Marsha Blackburn wrote last January, 302,000 illegals came in just 1 month under the Democrats. That was 50 times the figure from this June. And as the border czar explained, none of the 6,070 were released into the U.S. That is real progress. How many illegals do we have? No one is sure. But the Center for Immigration Studies estimates 15.8 million, up 5.2 million during Mr. Biden's 4 years. That's probably an undercount, because there could have been more than 7 million illegals turned loose by the administration, not to mention another 1.66 million gotaways that the Border Patrol saw but couldn't catch. Booting them will be a big job. As Todd Lyons, acting ICE director, put it in April, we need to get better at treating this like a business, like Amazon Prime, but with human beings. White House advisor Stephen Miller says the goal is to deport 3,000 illegals every day. 3,000 a day for 4 years would mean only 4.4 million, maybe a quarter of all illegals. And on a good day, we're deporting only about 1,000. Tom Homan says the bottleneck is where to park them after they are arrested and before they get on the plane. The more beds that we have, the more bad guys we arrest, he says. And this bill will pay for a lot more beds in detention centers. But I bet you have no idea how big a hospitality business ICE already is. On June 29th, ICE was housing 57,861 people. 72% arrested by ICE itself, which catches and boots illegals caught in the interior. 28% were arrested at or near the border by the Border Patrol. As you can see, that is a big change from under Mr. Biden. His last month, ICE was holding 39,152 people, almost 20,000 fewer, and only 37% had been caught by ICE. That was when illegals were pouring across the border, and there wasn't much effort to catch people once they were in the country. ICE now has authorization for only about 41,000 beds. So even under Sleepy Joe, it was at pretty much full capacity. Now, holding nearly 60,000 people a day, it's over capacity. But the new money will increase capacity to more than 100,000 beds. Here's a fun fact. In fiscal 2024, ICE booked 244 transsexuals into detention. ICE uses about 200 different detention facilities around the country, and 86% of illegals are held in private lockups. Here are just a few of them, including a couple of local government jails. This is Alligator Alcatraz from the air, which is run by Florida. It could eventually hold 5,000 illegals. How long do people stay in these places? I have data only up through last September, but under Biden, the average stay was 46.9 days, and that costs a bomb. The American Immigration Lawyers Association, a wild, let-'em-all-in outfit, reports that the average cost per day to hold an adult is $165, although other estimates run as high as $250 a day. Per year? If we figure 50,000 beds, 365 days a year, at $200 per head per day, that's nearly $3.65 billion a year in room and board for deportables. Here are annual budgets for Customs and Border Patrol, the blue bar on the bottom, and ICE, which is the green bar on top. CBP got about $20 billion in fiscal 2024. ICE got $9.6 billion. Under the new law, the ICE budget more than doubles to an average of $23.3 billion a year. But money for detention goes up more than 3 times, from $3.43 billion to $11.25 billion to pay for all those beds. Hospitality goes from 36% of the ICE budget to just over 50%. One reason deportables spend so many nights on your dime is that many go before an immigration judge, and there is a backlog of about 4 million cases. In fiscal 2024, the system got 1,800,000 new cases, thanks to all those illegals Joe Biden was waving in. And it cleared 700,000 old cases. The new budget includes $3 billion over 4 years for more judges. So if we can keep the number of border hoppers, and therefore new cases way down, that colossal backlog could be cut back. Lefties have been moaning that ICE is now the most expensive federal law enforcement agency. And it's true that the new $23 billion budget will be greater than the FBI's $11.3 billion, about double. However, the FBI does not feed, house, and medicate 100,000 people a year. There has also been rubbish about how the new ICE budget is close to that of the Marine Corps. The Marines chew through well over double the new budget, $57.2 billion a year. And these days, you could argue that ICE is more important. Obviously, it's best to scare enough illegals into clearing out on their own, or using the CBP Home app. Look at that happy family, heading home. If all goes well, they'll get a free trip south and $1,000 in walking around money. In the meantime, ICE promises not to come after them. That's a lot better than being pitched out after a dawn raid. Here is DHS Secretary Kristi Noem telling illegals to clear out.
Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return.
She doesn't look very scary to me, but nearly 1 million illegals are said to have self-deported so far under Trump. Let's hope for many millions more. During President Eisenhower's Operation Wetback in 1954, probably 300 to 400,000 Mexicans were deported and 500 to 700,000 left on their own. The new bill is supposed to pay for 10,000 new ICE agents. And here is the latest recruitment video.
There's a Bible verse I think about sometimes, many times. It goes, "And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us?"
Can roll on for a long time, roll on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
And I said, "Here am I. Send me."
Through your rock and hide your hand, working in the dark as your fellow man. Sky made black and white. It's time to die. Be brought to life. You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
I bet ICE will get a lot of men who would have been police officers, except for BLM and all cops are bastards. On the DHS X account, there is a pinned tweet that says, "Restore law and order now," and gives the tip line for reporting illegals. The videos are dramatic. Thugs burning the American flag and waving the Mexican flag. This isn't just restoring order. This is asserting sovereignty. I know there's now talk about exemptions for illegal farm workers, which Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins says won't be an amnesty. Sounds very fishy to me. However, for the most part, I'm enjoying a very unfamiliar feeling. The government is doing something it's supposed to do, and trying to do it right. I'm not usually a big fan of memes, but here's one a lot of people can agree with.